guys, welcome to my channel. So actually today's video we're going to be making more cat clothes, but this time I'll be making a Halloween costume for Kyoko, and he's going to be a bat. So let's get started. So I was at Target and I saw this cat costume that looked kind of cheap, and I was like, I can make a better version of that. So I took a picture of it and then I went home and started making the pattern. I used one of the old patterns I had so that I wouldn't have to remeasure anyone, and I just traced it so that I could make a sort of harness shape out of it. And I wanted to draw it out as like one whole piece so that I wouldn't have to do as much sewing, because it's always kind of a pain to sew like little tiny things like that. So after I had the pattern all done, I cut it out and went to go find Kyoko for a little fitting. And the paper pattern ended up being a little bit too small for him. It was about 2 inches too small for his tummy. So I sharpened my pencil and went back to the table to add about 1 inch to each side, maybe a little bit more than that. I can't remember anymore. After taping everything down so it was nice and secure, I moved on to drawing the bat wings. So I sharpened my pencil and got to work. I drew the general shape of the outside, and then I also drew some lines where I wanted some decorative stitching. And then I added seam allowance around the whole outside. For the fabric, I just chose some scrap fabric that I already had. This was like a polyester denim type of thing. And then I had this velvety scarf that I had already cut up. So I cut the harness out of the denim-y fabric, the thicker fabric, and I just cut 2 pieces out of that so that I could line it. And then I cut 2 wing pieces out of that fabric as well. And then I went ahead and cut 2 wing pieces out of the velvety scarf too. Then I realized that I needed some structure for the wings, so I used this old foam that I had from a previous project. And instead of pinning it down, I just marked it with a Sharpie. And I cut 2 wing pieces out of that. So then I sewed the velvet and denim wing pieces right sides together, which was way more difficult than it needed to be. It just kept sliding, and I ended up having to cut it down after sewing one side. But I only ended up losing about ½ an inch at most. And I just used like a ton of pins on the other side to try to keep it in place, but it still ended up sliding a little bit. So after that, I just trimmed it and flipped it right side out, and then tried to trim down the foam enough so that I can stuff it inside. Once the foam was inside, I just had to do some decorative stitching on the outside. This would keep the foam from sliding around, and it would just make it look much neater and easier to identify as a bat wing. After the bat wings were done, all I had to do was sew the harness right sides together and then flip that right side out, if that makes sense. Then I ironed that flat, and it was time to attach the bat wings. I just sewed them to each other and then attached them to the harness after that, just by top stitching. To finish it off, all I had to do was add a little piece of Velcro to each end of the harness. I did also end up hand tacking down the wings so they wouldn't be flopping too much, because I realized when he laid down and rolled around they were just all over the place. But this is how it turned out. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. If you try your own project like this, I'd also like to hear about it. I love hearing about your projects. Don't forget to also like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.